In today's video, I'm going to guide you step by step on how to record and edit high quality video and audio content using Riverside.fm, whether it's for a podcast, YouTube, or any remote interview. We'll cover how to set up projects, create studios, invite guests, record, and even use some of Riverside's editing tools. If you're new to podcasting or video creation, don't worry, this is designed for beginners and I'll walk you through everything that you need to know. So let's go ahead and dive in. What is Riverside? So Riverside's an online platform designed to record remote interviews and studio quality video and audio. It's perfect for podcasters, content creators, or anyone looking to capture high quality conversations with guests from around the world. Now, what makes Riverside stand out is that it records everything locally on each participant's device, ensuring that you get high quality video and audio even if there are internet connection issues. Plus, Riverside offers a built-in editor to make post-production simple. So to get started with Riverside, go ahead and click the link down in the description to sign up and get a discount on your subscription. So once you go ahead and log in, you'll be met with your Riverside dashboard, which will look something like this. Now on the left-hand side, you're gonna see a list of all your studios, and studios are like the primary spaces where all your recordings happen. You can search for studios by searching up here in the studio search bar, and you can create new ones by just hitting the plus sign right here. So, for example, if you have a podcast, but you have a separate YouTube channel and you plan on using Riverside to record both, you might have a podcast studio that contains all of your podcast episodes and everything for your podcast, and a separate YouTube studio for all of your YouTube videos. Now, inside of each studio, you can go ahead and organize your recordings into projects. So a project's essentially a collection of related content, and you can sort of think of it as a folder that holds all of your recordings, edits, and uploads for a specific piece of content. So if your studio is for your podcast, each episode of the podcast can be organized into its own project. So for instance, your podcast studio might have 50 different projects inside of it here, one for each episode that you've covered. So here we are inside of a studio. So I went ahead and just created a test studio, and I also have a test recording in there as well. And you can do a couple different things. You can go ahead and just click right here and start recording directly into the studio. You can go ahead and plan for an upcoming event or something. You can upload, whether that's, a separate recording or a separate piece of media that you want in there, or an intro or an outro sort of thing. That's where you can upload things. You can go ahead and begin an edit, as well as use the AI voice. So you can all do this directly from the studio level. Then you can also come in here and click on new project, and it's going to create a new project. So we'll go ahead and just call this new project, since the other project is called test project. And then from here, you can either record, upload, edit, or do the AI voice. Now, if we come back to the studio, we'll go ahead and see that we have that test project and we have that new project. Again, we'll come in here to the test project, and here we have that recording. Now I could go ahead and start editing that. I could go ahead and create with AI or do a couple of different things. So to set up a new project, just go ahead and click on the studio where you want to create your new project. Now, once inside of this studio, you can create new projects for each episode or recording by hitting new project. Then go ahead and name the project whatever you're working on, like episode 1 or guest interview. And then now all of your recordings, edits, and uploads related to that episode will be stored neatly inside of that project or studio, depending on how you do it. Projects just make it simple to manage multiple pieces of content. So whether you're creating podcast episodes, video interviews, or anything else. So now that you understand how projects work, let's move on to how you can start recording your sessions. Creating your first recording. So let's go ahead and create our first recording. So we already have a new studio, and now we have a new project. So let's go ahead and create a recording in this new project. So let's go ahead and click on that. And then from here, again, we have those options where we can record, upload, edit, or AI voice. What we're gonna wanna do is click on record. And then from here, you can go ahead and set your name and select if you're using headphones or not using headphones. Now, Riverside encourages you to use headphones to, avoid any echoes. And so you can also monitor your audio levels. But for this example here, since I'm not speaking with anyone else, I'm just gonna go ahead and click on I am not using headphones. And then you'll also be able to make these changes inside of the actual recording area. But here you can also choose your camera, your microphone, as well as your speakers. So I can go ahead and come in here and choose a different camera. Right now, this is showing my MacBook webcam, but I can go ahead and choose the camera that I'm using here. So we'll go ahead and select this OBS virtual camera, and now this should look pretty similar. And then again, we can go ahead and choose the microphone, whether we want to use a microphone like I'm using here to record on, or if you have some other microphone that you'd like to use. And from here, just go ahead and click on Join Studio. So now that we're in here, this is sort of what the recording studio will look like. You're over here on the left-hand side, and anyone that you invite will be here on the right-hand side. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and close this just so there's a little bit more space. Now let's just give you a little tour of everything that there is to see here. So first up, we have these bottom controls here. And this is where you can go ahead and start recording or run a test recording. You can go ahead and mute your mic or change your mic. You can come here and either turn your camera off or choose a different camera. Same thing with the speakers. You can either choose a different speaker or turn it on and off. Here you can go ahead and add a script or a teleprompter with this feature here. And then here you can go ahead and share. So either a presentation or just share your screen. And then this is where you can also leave the studio or end the session for all yourself as well as your guests. Now, if we come up top here to the gear, this is where we have some other settings. So if we go ahead and click on that, here we can go ahead and again, change our camera, our microphone, and our speakers, as well as sort of monitor our audio right here as well. Now, they also have this echo cancellation, which we can go ahead and turn on or off depending on if you'd like. You know, if you're hearing an echo, that means that someone else needs to turn it on, not you. So look for the person without headphones. In this case, that's me. We'll go ahead and leave that on though. And then here you can go ahead and mirror your video or not. We'll go ahead and leave it on since that's how it was. Coming down into general, we have some other settings here. You can go ahead and change the name of your studio. Coming down in here to design. So here you can go ahead and add a logo as well as this new design feature here. So here you can customize your studio background, colors, and more. Now coming down here to recording. So this is an important area to make sure that you check this out. So here you can select different recording modes. So if you want to record video and audio, you can do that, which is probably a primary reason why you're using Riverside in the first place is to record video and audio, but you also have the option to just select audio too. We have a noise reduction slider that we can turn on or off here, and then we can choose our audio sample rate as well as our video resolution. So to get the best possible quality, you're gonna wanna turn this to 48 kilohertz, and then select this advanced mode and select up to 4K HD. That's gonna give you the best quality possible. Now, if we click here to the advanced tab, we have some other settings that we can change. One is this low data mode. So what this does is, again, how Riverside works is that it records locally to your computer instead of just recording the cloud version. And what this does is it doesn't require the internet to get a quality upload. Now, what low data mode does is if you are having poor internet connection, it's just gonna cut the video signal between you and your guest to just stress your internet less. Now, it doesn't affect the final recording, but it's just a good way if you have a poor internet connection to go ahead and continue recording with a bit of ease. So that is the settings area. Now, if we take a look here at over on the right-hand side, we have some different tabs that we can look at. And by default, it's on the People's tab. And if we click on any of the tabs, it'll go ahead and hide away. But here we have some different settings. So we have some quick settings here. We can go ahead and click down and see that the max quality is 4K, which is what we want. That 48 kilohertz for the audio, again, which is what we want. And we also have that option to turn on the noise reduction here as well. And then we also have this option here to make some changes to my own video here. And here we can see that it is in 1080p. And here we can go ahead and make some changes. So again, we also have our video and mic controls and go ahead and make those changes as well. If we come over here to the chat, here, this is where you can go ahead and chat with anyone who is on the call. So that could be your other guest, but Riverside also has the ability to sign in as a producer. So the producer doesn't get recorded on audio or video. They're just kind of there to manage the podcast if needed. And so you can go ahead and chat with anyone, whether that be the host, producers, or guests, all in this area here. If we're coming down to the brand, here we have some more of those design elements where we can go ahead and upload our logo. We can go ahead and change the theme, change the name style. So that's this name down here in the bottom left, where if we also go ahead and click on that, we have some different options there as well. And if we come down here to the text, so this is where you can go ahead and create engaging lower thirds to share info with your audience. These can be modified later in the editor. So they have some stuff here as well. well as you can add some other ones. And then we have the media section. So this is where you can play audio or video files, and files played while recording are saved as a separate track. So then that way you can go ahead and edit them in post-production, which is a super handy tool. Moving on to inviting guests to your studio. So if you're recording with remote guests, inviting them to join your studio is super simple. There are two main ways to invite people. You can send a guest link. So in the upper right corner of the studio, go ahead and click on invite. You can copy the guest link and send it to your guest via email or message. This way they can join the session directly from their browser with no downloads required. Email invitations. Alternatively, you can send an invite directly through Riverside by entering your guest's email address. They'll receive a link to join the studio along with best practices for setting up their recording environment. Riverside also allows you to assign different roles to each participant, kind of like I was talking about earlier. So the first one is guest. So your guests will be recorded. Then there's the producer. So this person can manage technical aspects without being recorded. Audience members. These viewers can watch a live recording but won't be seen or heard. Now, once your guest is in the studio, they can set up their audio, video, and speaker inputs just like we did. Now you're ready to start recording. So now that your project and studio are set up and your guests have joined, it's time to start recording. And here's how to get started. Check your audio and video. Make sure that you and your guests have chosen the right microphones, cameras, speakers, and you have headphones on. You can enable noise reduction and echo cancellation if needed. Then just start the recording. Click the record button at the bottom of the screen. 5-second countdown will appear, and then you're live. Riverside records everything locally on each participant's device, ensuring high quality results even if there are internet issues. During the session, you'll see your video and audio files being saved to the cloud as you record. If anyone experienced internet problems, again, Riverside has that low data mode, which ensures that recordings continue without interruption. Editing in Riverside. So once your recording is done, it's time to edit. Riverside's built-in editor is super beginner friendly and makes it easy to clean up your content before publishing it. Here's how to get started editing. So first things first, we'll go ahead and leave this studio by clicking the back button, and we'll go back to that other project where I had that previous recording. So in your project dashboard, we're going to select the project that you have recordings in. In this case, this is my test project. And we're going to go ahead and click on the recording you want to edit and select create new edit. And this will open Riverside's editing interface. So if I go ahead and hover over this, I can go ahead and see this edit button. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Now in the editor, you're going to see a few things. And the first one is a transcript of your recording where you can edit by simply deleting text, which is super handy, especially if you are not very comfortable with video editing. You'll also see a separate video and audio track for each participant, so you can rearrange, cut, or adjust individual sections. So for example, let's go ahead and run through this. So I went ahead and just asked ChatGPT to write me a monologue about Riverside, and let's go ahead and just delete these first sentence here where I say that, and we'll just cut it to right when it starts. So again, using the text editor, I can just go ahead and highlight that and delete it, and then we'll see that it is crossed out there. It's still there, but you can see now that the playhead of the editor jumped up to here, which is where the video actually starts. So if I go ahead and press play. Hey, what's up everyone? Today I'm taking you behind the scenes. So as you can see, the video here isn't the best quality. And that's just because we're editing online and it's showing you a low resolution preview. But when you go to export it, it's going to be in the quality that you set at recording. Now, if we come over here onto the right-hand side, we can see a couple of different tools here. Right here, we have the AI producer. So if we go ahead and click on that, we have a couple different options here. We have the set pace, and this is going to remove pauses and improve conversation flow. We have smooth speech, which removes filler words and unwanted sounds. This one's saying here, no filler words were detected, or this is an old recording. It has the magic mute, so this will mute people when they're not speaking. And then there's the magic audio. So this enhances one audio track. So let's go ahead and start with that. Let's go ahead and click on the magic audio, and let's just go ahead and play a little bit more, see how it sounds. Now, if you've ever tried recording a podcast or an interview online. Now, if we come over here to the right-hand side and we click on tracks, let's go ahead and click on that. And here we just have the one track here, but you can go ahead and change the volumes of the track. So for example, let's say your guest was talking really quietly. You could come in here and raise their volume as well. If we come here to the brand section, here we can go ahead and add logos, add backgrounds, or add more spacing. So if we click on spacing, it's gonna go ahead and just add a little border around it, and you can go ahead and change the corners as well. So if you want like a rounded corner, you can do something like that. Now here we have the layout section, and it's saying that smart scenes aren't available as there's only one video feed, but if you're recording with a guest, you'll be able to go ahead and change some things here. Next, we have the music section here. So you can go ahead and use some music that's already built into Riverside, or you can go ahead and upload your own. Here we have the caption section. So you can go ahead and choose from some different styles. You know, you can go ahead and just have something that's sort of like bold, like this yellow. Let's go ahead and choose this one here and make that a little wider. Raise it up a little bit. And then you can see as we start playing it, it's gonna go ahead and play those captions for us. Next, we have the upload section here. So again, this is where you can add any images, videos, or audios of your own to go ahead and add into the editing process here. And then we have this images section here. So this is royalty-free images provided to you through Riverside. And then here we have the text section. So if you wanted to add a title or a speaker label or some different styles, you can go ahead and do that there. Now, let's say we didn't want to use the transcript editor over here, and let's say we just wanted to cut out a section sort of in the middle of this video here. To do that, we'll go ahead and set our playhead wherever we want to make the adjustment, and we'll click here, and then we want to click on this split button. So go ahead and click that, and then let's say we want to come a little bit further forward here, and we wanted to take away this section here. We'll go ahead and press split again, and we can click this section and click delete. And then Riverside is going to go ahead and move over the other side of the track to go ahead and just make it smoothly play in between. So now if we go ahead and play, we can see how it just went ahead and played right through. Now here we can also add a chapter. So if we come here and we click right here and click add chapter, that go ahead and adds a chapter marker. So if you're recording like a super long podcast or something, you can go ahead and add different chapters into it. And then we can also add a scene. So let's go ahead and move forward a little bit here and click on add scene. And lastly, if we come up here to the top, we can go ahead and change sort of the layout here. So right now it is 16:9, which is a horizontal video, which is great for YouTube or Spotify. We can go ahead and click on 9:16, which is a vertical format. We have the 1:1 for things like LinkedIn, X, or Instagram. And we also have the audio only. Moving on to exporting your podcast or video. So once you're happy with all the edits that you've made, it's time to export your recording. So to do so, we're gonna go ahead and click export in the top right corner of the editor. Now you can export your video in up to 4K resolution or just the audio as an MP3 or a WAV file. So if we come here under the video tab, we have some different options. We can do 720, 1080p, or 4K. We'll go ahead and select 4K. We can choose to remove the watermark. We can normalize audio levels and remove background noise as well. Now if we go ahead and come over to the audio section, we can choose the audio quality, whether we want an MP3 or a WAV. A WAV file will give you more flexibility if you plan to edit it further later, but for most of you, probably the MP3 is just fine. Go ahead and click on export audio. And then here it's saying it's exporting it, so you can find it in your dashboard or create more. So let's go ahead and click on go to exports. And here we go ahead and we see that that is currently exporting. So it was edited a few seconds ago, and we give it a little bit of time. We'll go ahead and have that finished project. So after exporting, you can download your files to your computer or use Riverside's direct publishing tools to upload your content to platforms like Spotify, YouTube, or podcast hosting services. Managing projects in Riverside. One of the best things about Riverside's new projects feature is how easy it makes managing multiple pieces of content. All of your recordings, edits, and uploads from a single session are grouped into a project, keeping everything organized in one place. Moving recordings between projects. So if you accidentally recorded something in the wrong project, no problem. You can just click the three dots next to the recording and select move to project. Multi-track editing. If you have multiple recordings in a single project, Riverside automatically organizes them on one timeline for easy editing. This makes Riverside an incredibly efficient tool for podcasters and content creators, especially when you're working on multiple episodes or projects at the same time. Final thoughts on Riverside. Riverside is a powerful and easy to use platform that simplifies the entire content creation process, from recording to editing and organizing. So whether you're just starting your podcast or scaling up with more complex projects, Riverside has all the tools that you need to produce high quality content without needing advanced technical skills. So if you're ready to take your content to the next level, then give Riverside a try by using our our link down in the description. This is an affiliate link, which means that we earn a small commission when you use it at no extra cost to you. And these commissions really help support the channel and allow us to continue making free content just like this. So if you end up using those links, we thank you so much in advance. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Here on this channel, we make videos dedicated to helping new and existing entrepreneurs get started and succeed in business, so be sure to subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here in the next video.